advantage I have playing my position. Usually bigger post guys, I can make quick moves around them, and then when they put a smaller guy, I can bully them to the rim, make strong moves. So.
I'll just go ahead and take it myself.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? I know it's been a minute, but I'm back with another video. First of all, I want to shout out to all my new subscribers. I'm about close to 200 at this point, so y'all just keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing, and hey, keep showing love. Anyway, let's get into this video topic for today. Today we're talking about the NBA G League versus overseas. Which one is better? And this is all based off my experiences, so obviously it's my opinion, and whatever I say is not a fact. Everybody's going to have a different experience based on your situation, and do whatever you feel is best for you. But I'm just going to share some of the information that I've gathered from playing both in the NBA G League and playing overseas. I got my trap phone right here, got my notes, and we just gonna go through the pros and the cons. So we're gonna start with the NBA G League. Pros. Number one, I feel like this is the biggest one. Living in the United States of America. If you're from the US, obviously it's gonna be more comfortable for you because you don't have to adjust to a new culture. It's the same language. Everybody speaks English, no matter if you go to New York, LA, Florida. It doesn't matter. Everybody speaks English. You know how things operate. Don't really have to explain that. Obviously, your family, for the most part, will be in the U.S. They can come to games. You can go visit home when you want to. If you have kids, they can see you. If you don't have kids, you can still see your parent. You know how that works. And then, me personally, I think the United States is the most easiest country to live in the world and the most convenient country. And I've traveled to a lot of places, so I might be biased because I was born there, but that's just how I feel. So that's number one. Number two, your money being on time. In the U.S., every company has to operate on a payroll system, so there's a whole different department that's in charge of you getting your money than the team. The team worries about basketball, and then there's a different department that worries about your check getting to your account. So you never have to worry about your money being in your account on time. You get paid every 2 weeks, and that direct deposit gonna hit. You don't gotta call nobody. You don't gotta text nobody. Nothing. The direct deposit gonna hit every 2 weeks. Number three, the proximity to the NBA. Every NBA G League team has a parent club, so they're watching pretty much every game you play. You're going to have two-way players on your team. You're going to have NBA assignment players in your team. You're going to have former NBA vets that are trying to get another shot in the G League. So there's always eyes from the NBA on the NBA G League, and at any given time, you might go off, and you might be the next one on that radar. You might be the next one to get caught up. So that's a very big advantage of the G League, is those eyes watching you. That's the reason why a lot of guys play. I have 4 pros, actually. Number 4 is going to be resources. Every NBA G League team has a plethora of staff, a plethora of gear for free. All the NBA players and G League players, we got 50 pair of NBA socks, leg sleeves, arm sleeve. For the most part, unless your team is stingy, you get all of that. And that stuff is worth a lot of money, low-key. But, and then training staff. You have, coaches that's going to rebound for you. You have training staff that's going to stretch you out. You have the equipment to take care of your body, from the Hypervolt to Normatec to, everything you need that most NBA teams have. The G League team has something similar, for the most part. Not every G League team, but for the most part. That's 4 pros, and then I'll go to the cons of the NBA G League. So, number 1, instability. If you're on an NBA G League standard contract, you're pretty much on a day-to-day contract because you can get waived at any time. There's no guarantees. So, the standard contract is tough because you come to practice every day okay, I got to perform. Every game I got to perform, because if you don't, you could be gone. So instability is really hard because you could be on one team one day and then be gone, and they could send you home the next day. Now you're out of a check and you're waiting on, another opportunity to come up with another G League team or maybe going overseas. Um, two, two is role on the team. For the most part, and I'm speaking from a standard G League player because I was on a standard contract both years I played. For the most part, standard players are not going to be the star player of the team or the secondary player because you have the two-way guys, you have the Exhibit 10 guys. So you're going to be usually like a 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th guy in the roster. And that just means you got to get it how you fit in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to get some offensive rebounds. You're going to have to set some picks. You're going to have to do the dirty work for the most part. And if you can find a niche in there, then it's good. But it's not always easy to find a niche when you have inconsistent minutes, when you get DNPs some games. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it's tough to kind of find that role on the team when you're not the star player. You're not getting consistent looks on the team. Number 3 is going to be less money compared to some overseas leagues. Overseas people can get up to, I think the highest paid contract is like 6.1 mil in the Euro League. And obviously depends on which league you're playing in, but you can get 6-figure deal for the most part overseas after a few years playing. And in the G League, you're not getting that. The most you're going to get as a standard player is like $43,000 for 5 months. So, you're taking less money playing in the G League usually. Respect overseas. It's crazy because even in 2024, going into 2025, some European teams still do not respect the NBA G League. They just think that it's bad basketball. They think that people have low IQs and it's just a whole bunch of athletic, fast players just running up and down the court that don't know what they're doing. So a lot of European teams, coaches, they'll want you to have 1 or 2 good years in Europe under your belt before they really sign you to those big deals. So some players, they play decent in the G League, then they have to go to Europe and basically prove themselves again. So yeah, that is number 4. And now we're going to go ahead and go to overseas, pros and cons. So overseas, pros. Number 1 is going to be world travel. Getting to travel the world it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, I've been to Paris, I've been to Africa, I've been to Argentina, Buenos Aires, the capital. I've been to the capital, I've been to Istanbul. I've been to so many countries I could barely even keep track, honestly. I've been to over like 15 countries in the past 6 years. So that's cool to fill the passport up and just see different cultures, landmarks, different, walks of life, try different food. That part is really cool. Number 2, higher salaries. Like I mentioned earlier, the highest paid player in Europe right now is making 6.1 mil. That's the highest. Now, most people are not getting that, but even if you could fall somewhere in the middle, like 500K, 300K, that's good money. You're making 6 figures, so that's very achievable overseas. Bigger role. Unlike the G League, overseas, they're going to expect a lot more out of you. So you're going to get the ball in your hands. You're going to get plays ran for you. You're going to get an opportunity to show what you can do, show your skill on the court, and usually you'll have a lot more trust from your coach to show your talent on the court. That was number 3, bigger role. And number 4 is going to be no taxes. The teams pay the taxes for you overseas. You do not have to worry about it coming out of your check. As far as when you get back to the States, I don't know. That's between you and your tax agent or you and your bank on how you're going to handle that. But while you're overseas, you do not have to pay the taxes in that country. That was number 4. That will conclude the pros. We're going to go to the cons of overseas. Number 1, less resources. These teams overseas do not have a staff like the NBA or 20 people, how they do in the NBA and college. They got about 5, 6 people most of the time, and a lot of times they probably did not go to college to do this stuff. They're underqualified, they're underpaid, and they just be there for the vibe. So, training staff, they gonna help you, but they gonna help you to their ability. You don't have guys just rebounding for you, 3 or 4 guys waiting after practice to rebound for you. Some teams don't even have a, most teams don't have a practice gym, and some teams don't even have full access to the actual arena for you to get shots up. So you have a lot less resources, and they still expect you to play at that high level regardless. Number 2, late money, bro. Like, I know so many dudes that they're owed $50, $75, $100,000 from teams from years back, and they still haven't got it. I know some dudes that are in court right now trying to get the money that they're owed by teams. So that is a big issue overseas that still has not been fixed, and I don't know when it will be fixed because there's no players association, there's no union how the NBA has it because everything is so spread out. So every year, guys get owed money, and guys take teams to FIBA court, and a lot of money is spent in court trying to get their money back. So it's an unfortunate reality overseas, and honestly, it's a 50-50 type of thing. What I would advise for most players, if you're going to go to a team, try to find as many people you can that played on that team in the past, and ask those players, did you get paid on time? And most of the time, those players are going to tell you the truth. If they did or not, and if they didn't, then I don't suggest that you go. But if you do go, make sure your contract protects you. And when it comes to the payments being late, put like, hey, if y'all are past 15 days late, I have the freedom to leave, or 10 days, or whatever you want to decide with your agent. That's a whole nother video too, that whole late payment stuff. We're going to talk about that in another video. Number 3, being far away from family. Kind of self-explanatory, especially if you're a family-oriented person and you have to come overseas by yourself. It's tough to be away from home, to miss those birthdays, to miss those weddings, to miss the graduations, all that stuff. Just being away from your family and not being able to go home and see your loved ones is a hard thing. So yeah, I missed Christmas and Thanksgiving this year for the very first time in my whole career, and it was tough. So being away from your family is a big con. And the 4th and last one is more pressure to win/perform. Being overseas, you're usually going to have between 1 to 5, 1 to 6 Americans on every team. So obviously the pressure on the Americans to perform is going to be a lot higher when you guys are brought in from America just to play basketball. They basically expect everybody to be LeBron, Kobe, Shaq. You know what I'm saying? They expect you to dominate as an American. And it depends what league you are. I think the higher you go, the more realistic they are. But there's always definitely going to be an expectation as an American from your coach, from your teammates, from the fans, from the management. So that is a con sometimes because they're unrealistic. They might give you the worst local players and expect you to go win every game, or give you little to no resources and expect you to perform at a high level. So that part can get frustrating. But yeah, that's number 4, and that's pretty much all I got for y'all. When it comes to my opinion on which one I think is better to play in, it's hard to say, but as of now, I'm in year 6. Up to this point, I will say I enjoyed the NBA G League more than overseas, just because I'm very family oriented, and getting to be around my family was just a blessing, especially playing in Dallas for the Mavericks G League team, and being from Dallas. That was just like, hey, not a lot of people can say they play for their hometown team. So that could change in the future. Obviously, if I'm making $1 million in the Euro League, I'm sure that overseas would be a lot better, and I get to just go live in some big mansion and drive whatever. But right now, it's the G League. So that's my opinion. But y'all be blessed. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep subbing. I'm at almost 200 now, so the goal is to get to 200 and really just to keep on going up. 500 next, you know what I'm saying, and 1,000, and just bit by bit. So appreciate y'all, and I will keep these videos coming.